What's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fans? This your boy JB, host of the Behind the Bench podcast networking channel. Just want to give a shout out to the rest of the crew. I'm talking about Shy, Kelvin, and Jermaine. And for everyone who's tuning in, I hope that you support Behind the Bench, become a subscriber, and help make this show the best that it can be. And with your support, since we started this channel a little over a year ago, when we really started to, rev things up and to provide content, you have helped us achieve over 75,000 views, and we're trying to reach 100,000 views by the end of this year, going into 2024. So we thank you, the members of the crew. We thank you, and we're going to continue delivering that content and be on point about what's going on in the sports world. Now, in the NBA, I want to talk about something. I'm going to further elaborate on this because it's a constant theme every day on sports talk, whether it's on TV, radio, or whatnot. And it's becoming redundant because we've never seen nothing like this before. And when it comes down to it is, if you're great, you're great. What I mean by great, I'm not just talking about being able to play for a long time or whatnot. I'm talking about contributing to your sport to where your participation in it, no matter how long you played, whether it was 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, 20 years, whether your contribution to the sport has elevated basketball. And I'm not necessarily talking about skill. I'm not talking about skill. I'm talking about the drive to be your absolute best when it comes to winning. Because at the end of the day, let's think about it. Because it seems like that the bar has been lowered over time, particularly over these past, I'm going to say, this is 2023, I'm going to say since about 2016, 2017-ish. So about the last 6-7 years regarding the NBA, the bar has been lowered. And it's no longer about winning. It's about just getting there. But think about it. If you gravitate to sports, if you enjoy watching sports or participating in sports, if you was a kid starting out watching sports and you was inspired by someone, whether it's in basketball, football, baseball, even an individual sport. Let's say in football, and you out there playing in your backyard, and you're saying to yourself, "Oh man, I want to throw the game-winning touchdown and win a championship. I want to deliver the game-winning catch." It's like you're trying to you're creating a circumstance where you're in the Super Bowl, and you want to make the game-winning play to win the championship. That's a dream. That's a pursuit. That's what inspires you, right? Or in baseball, man, I want to hit the game-winning home run, or I want to hit the game-winning RBI. Or if you're a pitcher, oh man, I want to deliver that strikeout to preserve the win and help us win that championship. I want to close it out, or pitch a shutout, whatever you want to call it. Or in basketball, I want to hit the game-winning shot. I want to make the game-winning play on defense. I want to make the game-winning steal. Whatever it is that's going to contribute to winning. You don't start off by saying, "Oh man, I just want to get there." No, you dream of winning it. That's what generates the inspiration to want to play sports. It's about winning. That's what it's about. So usually you gravitate to a player who has won multiple times, or who was so dominant that their dominance generated a period of winning at the highest level. And I'm not necessarily talking about being undefeated in championship play. But if you have a winning percentage in championship, basketball, football, baseball, mainly, I'm going to say basketball. I'm going to say basketball since we're talking about the NBA. It's impossible. Let's use logic. Prior to these past 7 years, right? Or prior to the super team era, the premium was always on winning. Let's think about it in sports. When it comes to team sports, when an organization drafts a player, especially like a lottery bound player, and you're trying to, start your franchise over again. When you draft a player, let's say like the Spurs drafting Victor Wembanyama, they drafted him with the hopes of one day him being a cornerstone player because of the potential that he seems to possess prior to being drafted. That, man, we hope we can build a champion around this young man. Not we want to just be good to go to the playoffs. No, when you drafting a lottery-bound player, your hopes is, your dream is, as a front office, as an organization, as a fan base, we hope, man, that he can help lead us to a championship down the road. That's logic. Because the ultimate goal is to win. And when I say the ultimate goal is to win, I'm not saying pursue that goal by taking shortcuts. If you're taking shortcuts, and if you currently garner a losing percentage in championship play, there is absolutely no way that you could be perceived or considered the greatest in your sport when other players, past and present, have won more championships than you without falling short to the degree where you have a losing percentage. It's impossible. So what I'm trying to say is, man, I try not to get into this GOAT debate right now because I don't even think it's deserving, because in the context to the way that it's presented, in doing so, to try to convince the masses that a particular player is the greatest ever, past eras and past players who truly won are getting marginalized, diminished, crapped on, and trashed on. That's never, ever happened in any other period of sport. In sport, whether it's NBA, MLB, or NFL. It's all about what you did during the time that you played during your career. And it really wasn't based on constant comparisons to past players really until your career ended. And when it was deserving of you being in that conversation because your resume suggested and proves it. That's when you can start talking about GOAT or an acronym for greatest of all time. Otherwise, there shouldn't even be a conversation. The main crap, it ain't about your hops, it ain't about your athleticism, it ain't about quickness per se, it ain't about agility. It's about, are you winning? That's all it's about. And it's how you're winning. Sometimes you have to win when the odds are, quote unquote, no pun intended, stacked against you. Because when it comes to Michael Jordan, they're trying to convince the basketball populace that's coming up now in this current era of manipulation of history that he only won because he had Scottie Pippen and his competition was lackluster. But when you go back and look at it, when you look at all his finals opponents, they average 60 wins plus. The Lakers won 58 games in 91. The Portland Trail Blazers won 57 games in 92. The Phoenix Suns won 62 games in 93. The Seattle Sonics won 64 games in 96. And the Utah Jazz won 64 games in 97. In the rematch in 98, they won 62 games. That's an average of 60 wins a season. But they're going to try to tell you that he didn't play nobody because he has an unblemished record in championship play, really on any level. And it's because his resume has the greatest case for being considered the greatest basketball player that's ever lived. But I'll be talking about this more down the road. Until next time, this is JB for BTB Behind the Bench.